We would like to open our show with a heartfelt thank you to all the veterans out there who fought for our freedoms and give us the opportunity to live the lives that we do. And so we'd like to open up this show with a big thank you to all of the veterans out there on November 11th. We think of you, and we should think of you all year long. But today we recognize and thank you. What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, November 11th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Coming off a roller coaster, wild fucking day. The night really started for me with losing the Cavaliers money line. And at that point, I was 2-0 tailing Maxwell Smart in college basketball. The Coppin State breakdown I thought was absolutely spectacular. It was just a perfect breakdown for us to make money on. And then that game started off, and I went on Razor Sharp's horse racing show. I had a good day on the horse racing show. I ended up sweeping the board in college basketball 4-0 after an 0-3 start to the year. Max went 6-2 to bring his record on the show to 8-6. So he's off and rolling. We took a lot of heat for our performance, mine in NHL on Tuesday and Max's in NCAA basketball on Tuesday, and it really fucking pissed me off. It really made me angry that Max would be judged for a 1 day of basketball. And look, a loss doesn't matter if you lose by 30 points or you lose by 1 point. A loss is just a loss. So him going 2-4 on Tuesday. Look, I've worked with him for years. I knew he would bounce back in a big way. And the heat, it really, it angered me. And it's tough. And I shouldn't let it anger me, but it really did. And then me taking heat for my NHL on Tuesday, 1-3. I lose a game in a shootout and lose a game in overtime. We bounced back in NHL with a 2-1 plus 1.45 unit day. I've made 4 bets in NHL. And the markets have gone against me in all of them. I want to bet the under in the Raptors-Sixers game, but I guess with the market not moving really right now, I should talk it out with Dutch Boy Fresh and the cappers in the chat. But overall, it was a winning day, even though I'm getting destroyed in NBA. So, when you do this publicly, you take a lot of heat, and it's fine. It doesn't matter. I get so much joy out of capping with you guys all the time. And I know I'm going to get destroyed for my NBA record right now. But for me, I kind of always have a limit in sports where I'm struggling. And it's the 2K limit. So if I get down 2K, look, I'm going to fucking panic. I'm going to stop. Well, not only am I going to panic, but I'm probably going to shut down. But that's not the case right now. So I'm going to keep firing away, and thank God for college basketball's 4-0 night, and thank God I did lose $100 on the NCAA football under. It's like playing sports. When you hesitate because you're worried about getting hurt, that's when you get rocked, right? That's when you get hurt. My dad always says that, he who hesitates is lost. And I was hesitating with the Maction. And in almost looking back at it, I'm thankful that I did, because I would have been on Kent State. And, I was going to be on Kent State first and foremost. But Ball State, I also found appealing. So I could have easily been on both of Kent State and Ball State and lost there. So, it is what it is. And I thank you guys so much for your continuing support. We're the only show that's completely honest about everything that we do. Every single loss is put up in front of everybody, and you have to, deal with the consequences of that accountability. So people will celebrate you when you win, and they'll, destroy you when you lose. And sometimes you can lose enough that you probably shouldn't talk about that sport. And that's the risk that we take when we are honest and accountable. And that's why no other shows do it, because what happens if they go down 20 units? Are you going to listen to them talk about some fucking sport that they're losing in? That's why we're the only show that risks everything. And my diatribe's over. I'm happy to be. Oh, Jesus. Did I just do that? Fuck, man. What kind of. Jesus, that's horrible. All right, see, there you go. My fucking diatribe and a clap, and I lose the poppy. All right, it's back up. Okay, so also, as you guys know, I'm fucking barely sleeping. My wife's sick. My 8-month-old is sick, so I'm capping into the late hours, barely sleeping, and it makes me a little more fucking emotional. So I don't really know what's going to happen in the next 2 hours, but I do know this. We have to be done by 1 p.m. Eastern because Babano's football frenzy is on. And I do know that Max is going to come in firing shots. And I also know that Dutch Boy Fresh is going to do the same. And I know the chat is going to be incredible. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a Viper NB in the house. Money bag ready to go. Wesley Costas. Matty Ice. Don't think I haven't noticed 2-0 in NCAA basketball for the taint plays of the day. Now that you're back in business. There's Lance LaRose. Serious business. Mally Mal. Sammy Calmer. There you go. He says NCAA has been good to the taint. Henry Dice, Ick Schnizzle, Try Sawyer says, been a long time since I've been able to catch live from one vet to another. Happy Veterans Day to everyone. Thank you for your service. Try. Thank you so much, man. Slatsy, Puzzler, Dan says, Gobert double Jazz to win. Bobby Boucher, our guy, Bobby the Butcher in the house. Professor Chris, 10-5 to the season with the new model. And shout out to the guy who was screaming Maryland East Shore. That was a beautiful under. I loved the capping yesterday in college basketball. Felt very, 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 very good. Mark Schillingberg, CT Bays. What a great group. Okay, so we got tons of work to do, and I've got to roll. Stop capping is here. Says Miami loss ruined my NBA best bet last night. Yeah, I mean, look, with 4 minutes left, even without Jimmy Butler, it looked like we were gold. Matty I says NBA is so damn tough. Look, another thing is that last year was the first year that I publicly had lost in front of you guys. My first few years here, I was the first 3 years, especially, I ended up double-digit units over a whole season. So I'm not going to panic, but I'm also not just going to, go down more than 20 units and keep firing. I can't do that. I can't do that. There's Toucan in the house. Mally Mal. Okay, so let's get to work right now. That boy Cold ready to get to work. We got Todd Reeves. Thank you for that confidence, Todd. Matty Ice says Ball State is dead to me. Rem Most, thank you. Yes. There's certainly pros and cons to almost everything that you do, and look, I'm not very look, I'm much better at taking on the hate than I used to be in the trolling and all that stuff. So I know what I have and what I have with you guys, and I'll keep fighting. Like, I'm gonna keep fighting, but at some point in NBA, if I'm really getting killed, I can't financially do it. And that was part of the reason why I was thank you, don't panic, guys. That was part of the reason why I was so scared of baseball this year. Because what's happened to me as a gambler is that I have lost the opportunity to go down. There's Jimmy Gomez. Here we go. We have a veteran right there of the armed forces. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do for us, Jimmy. And I can't wait to hang out with you and hammer back a couple adult beverages when I'm in LA over the holidays. Yes, that's what I was saying about baseball. Quickly. And why I was so scared about baseball this year was because I've got an 8-month-old and a 4-year-old. And look, we're in Parkdale. And I want us out of here. And I was so scared about baseball because I can't sit back and lose a chunk of cash. And so, baseball was okay. We got up 20 units at one point and felt really good about ourselves. And so, it is what it is. Jose says he was worried about baseball. Then he met the best baseball capper out of Venezuela. Speaking of the best baseball capper out of Venezuela, I loved Max's bounce back and capping yesterday very, very much. I love Trotwam's thoughtful capping of NBA. And I loved Jose's work on our show yesterday. Jumping in on the Leafs with us and everything he brings to the show means a ton to me and brings levity. I guess that's the best way to do it. Brings levity. Okay, so let's quickly go over what happened yesterday because it was just a roller coaster ride. First off, Taint play of the day cashed. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day cashed, and the Say Hey play of the day cashed. Max went 6-2 plus 3.82 units. He cashed the Wake Forest double up. He cashed the Maryland Eastern Shore Temple under. He lost by a half point on North Florida plus 17.5. They lost by 18. He cashed easily the Alabama State Vanderbilt over. He lost the Northwestern State Tulsa under. And the Coppin State breakdowns I thought were absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Look, your complacency costs this new name. New name says, win or lose, you and the show are fantastic fun. The guest and crew chat will keep me tuning in. I'm just a casual bettor, but I win. But I want to win, so I tune in. Thanks, Bagman. Thank you very much for that. That means a ton. That means a ton to me. Puzzler says Jose is a gift. He is. I went 0-3-1 on Tuesday, and I bounced back with a 4-0 NCAA basketball card last night. Now, my NCAA unit size in both college basketball and college football is just $100. So there's not a lot of, it's not a lot of cash coming in even on big nights. And I have dropped my NBA unit size $25 to $125. And if I keep struggling, I'll drop it to $100 if I have to. NCAA football. So Kent State, Central Michigan under 75.5 lost. I don't know why this week and last week I felt like I have to take the unders with these high totals like an ass. Got me quite angry. Then basketball blew up in my face. Cavaliers money line lost. I thought it was going to cash. Detroit Houston over 210.5 was a casher. Shout out to Nut Flush Allen, who's been betting these over and over. He's been betting the team totals on teams that are facing the Rockets. So shout out to Nutflush Allen, who cashed again with that. Then Raptors money line was awful. Loss. Bulls minus 3.5. They're just simply being disrespected by the market, and that's going to change at some point. We have to take advantage of it while it hasn't. Heat minus 5 loss, and I know what happened for me because I lost the Cavaliers plus 135. I'd already decided to bet the Magic plus 10. Look, that was a loser. But if I had to catch that Cavaliers plus 135, I would have had a winning night, and I wouldn't have reached for the Timberwolves at the end of the night. So that sucked. In NHL, we went 2-1. Leafs minus 1 plus 120 a casher. Wild minus 1.5 plus 125 a casher. And the Stars are making me look bad. I see it. I get it. And I wish I had to pull the trigger on that over 5.5 at plus money. I've made 4 bets already in NHL. We're going to get to it. And let's get to work right now. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to the veterans. And let's do what we love to do, cap this card. We start in NHL, and I see Jason backstage. So maybe he's got a Jose Say Hey play of the day because he's hit 4 straight right now. 4 straight bets for Jose. So I'll keep an eye on the private. Oh, it looks like we may have one. All right, let's get to work. We're at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. So the very interesting thing for me in this on this card today is that these market moves have gone against me. So yes, Nick Foligno is back for the Boston Bruins, and he is very important because this team doesn't have a lot of depth after the perfection line. Let me just get my sports insights up. So he's back. What's he going to do in his first game back? That's questionable. And he's been hurt for a long time, right? He was hurt through that playoff drive. He was hurt for that playoff drive with the Leafs. So he plays a physical brand of hockey, and maybe his body is starting to let him down. I think that the Oilers, off that 4-2 loss against Detroit, are bet on. They're bet on. Koskinen liking being the number one guy, going up against Linus Ullmark, who's been good. Edmonton power play at 46.9%, penalty killing at 87.1%. Look, I don't know if they're a 9-2 hockey team. I don't know. We're going to find out over this road trip because this is game 2 of a 5-game road trip. But they are a dangerous hockey team, and Connor McDavid is the best hockey player on the planet. And then they got Draisaitl right there. Again, Hyman and Darnell Nurse, they're starting to move in the right direction to put pieces around these two phenomenal hockey players, but they've done a shit job at doing that so far. Going up against Boston, that power play, 25.8%, you can always count on Marchand and Bergeron. I mean, these guys, it's just they have the pieces to be spectacular. You got Pasternak on the wing. You got McAvoy at the point. It's just, they're going to be good. Their penalty killing at 80%. I expect it to be better. Oilers had their 4-game winning streak snapped, 4-2. Zach Kassian is day-to-day with a lower body injury. They need Kassian in that forward group because there's not a lot of toughness there. He was injured in Tuesday's game against Detroit. He didn't practice Wednesday. 37 hits in 10 games this year. 22 penalty minutes. They need his toughness. Bruins coming off a 3-2 home victory over Ottawa on Tuesday night. Trent Frederick, upper body, has been ruled out. Nick Foligno practiced fully on Monday. And, you know what? It says, he's unlikely to return on Tuesday. Sorry, that'd been caught. So Cassidy says he's been told that it's going to happen on Thursday against Edmonton. And so with that being said, I really like the Oilers here. And I'm shocked that I don't think that Boston's that good. And I'm shocked that the market had moved against me. I got plus 125 on the Edmonton Oilers. Let's see what we get right now on the Oilers. See what the guys are saying in the chat. There's Dennis Trusty in the house. Glenn Elliott Mann says Bruins 5-0 at home. That doesn't really concern me. Remo said Edmonton plays Boston tough throughout the years. 4-1 last 5 in Boston. Schnizzle says got to be careful with the Cavs. They're a scrappy team, but a first half team for sure. And Schnizzle said that's why I took them first half. Yeah, I get it. Glenn Elliott Man says again, and Ben, don't bet on those flakes. I'm not betting on them. I'm betting on Radulov, Rupi Hintz, Heiskanen, Gurionov, Robertson. That's who I'm betting on here. Mark Schimberg says, I was shocked Boston was favored. I'm not shocked Boston was favored. Boston should be favored at home against any team in the NHL at this point. I don't think there's any team in the NHL that should go to TD Garden as a favorite. And I truly believe that. The Bruins at home are going to be good and going to be tough to beat. And, okay, no, look, the market's coming back. Okay, that's a good sign. So, actually, I did end up – okay, that's good. That makes me feel better. I did beat the market move at Bet365. It's now at plus 120. That makes me feel good. And we're moving in the right direction. Okay, so let's see if the cash flow follows that up here. And, oh, Jesus. Do we have a say, hey, play of the day here? Okay, because you're on mute. I don't know if you're talking right now behind the mask. Okay.
I'm not talking beneath the mask. I wasn't. Hello, Jimmy. How are you?
Oh, Jesus, what happened? What the hell just happened? Are you moving on this game?
I am, Jim. I am. And I'm on the Oilers. You talk shit about the Bruins more than anyone I know. And maybe that's seeping into me. But this Bruins team without Tuukka Rask just doesn't hit the same. And you always say it's because of David Krejci, and he's probably having sex with multiple women in whatever part of the world he's in. But I just don't like the goalies. I'm not a Swayman guy. I love Connor McDavid, and I think getting Connor McDavid and my man Leon Draisaitl at a plus money price sounds good to me.
I think so, too. I'm a little nervous now looking at the cash. So 72% of the tickets are on the Oilers, 93% of the cash. I like that 28% of the tickets are on the Bruins, but the big bets are on the Oilers. So I kind of like that. 52% of the tickets on the under, 97% of cash on the under. And that is interesting, isn't it? Let's move over to...
That's the sweet Canadian money, right?
Yes.
That's sweet Canadian money betting on their squad.
I'm hoping that's the case. Let's move over to the total here because they're hanging a 6. Wow. I mean, the Bruins are just not going to give McDavid and Draisaitl any room. Hanging a 6.
I initially thought the 6 was the play listening, and I was like, but that's a lot of goals. 6 is a lot of goals is what I'm realizing, Jim. I know these are two really high-powered offensive teams, but I thought, like you say, I mean, the Bruins' main their main talking point going into this game is going to be limiting McDavid and trying to stop their offense playing tight, as you would say. So I'd rather take the higher plus money price than lay a 6.
I agree, but I am going to add the under 6 because when we know that Bergeron is going to be responsible for McDavid. And just so we're on the same page here, Glenn Elliott Man says David Krejci was an injury-prone glass man the last couple of seasons, missed like 50 games. In the lockout-shortened season, he played 51 games. So what did he miss? 5? He scored 44 points, and he was a plus 16. The year before that, yeah, he missed 21 games, 61 games, 13 goals, 30 assists. The year before that, he missed 1 game, 81 games, 20 goals, 53 assists, 73 points, and plus 16. He's a spectacular hockey player. And you know what's interesting, Jose, is my expectation as he's a 35-year-old man, is he's not banging beautiful women in the Czech Republic. I believe he's raising a family in the Czech Republic. We're different now, man. We're not 24 like you. Okay, I'm going to add the under 6. It's going to be Bergeron's responsibility to slow down McDavid. And Lance Rose says Bruins don't score much when 5-on-5. There's Cuban Connect in the house.
The other issue with the Bruins, by the way, Jim, is from what I know, is they don't shoot the puck enough. I always hear that they just simply don't shoot enough. And whenever I would say, I know this for a fact, Jim. This is my hockey knowledge for the display for you. Boston is the arena where you will most hear the shoot. The Bruins. That's all they do.
I don't know if I can use that in my analysis of hockey games.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Well,
you know what, Jim? By the way, Jim, we've gotten 23 minutes into the show, and we haven't played. You know what?
I know that will be played when we have a tough decision to make.
Well, we've got a mighty tough decision to make right now because I got a text early in the AM, Jim, from a ye old Dennis trustee. So I just want to let you know that.
Look, there's a place for that when we have a very difficult decision to make and we're humming and hawing. We pull that out. So don't worry, the time will come. Let's move forward. Jose, say hey play of the day. What is the line you're getting, Jose?
It's actually Jose Hockey in this time of the show, Jim. I'm sorry. I'm getting a plus 120.
Remo said it's cutoff time. Look, he's won 4 straight. He's up over 2 units on the show. He's a winning capper. He gets to smile and do whatever he pleases here.
Suck my ass, Rem.
What's your line quickly? Because we got to move.
Plus 120. Yeah, we're way behind schedule. We're the first game.
All right, let's go. We'll keep rolling. We're going to keep rolling. Thank you, Jose. We move on to 7 p.m. Eastern is the next up here. And we have Calgary Flames 7-2-3, 5-1-0 on the road at Montreal Canadiens, 3-10-1, 2-5-1 at home. We're at Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. That spectacular 5-0 road trip that the Flames have, I don't know if I fully buy it. They're coming in off their 3rd loss in 4 games, 4-1 at home to the Sharks on Tuesday. Brett Ritchie remains hurt. He does give them toughness. The Habs are coming off their 3rd straight loss, 3-2 to the Kings on Tuesday night. All 3 losses have come at home. Look, there's a problem in Montreal. But Flames, Habs, 1986 Stanley Cup Final, 1989 Stanley Cup Final. I mean, this is going to be I just think both teams will come to play here tonight. Calgary power play at 24.4%, penalty killing at 86.1%. And Montreal, 12.8% power play, 68.6% penalty killing. Look, you won't make the playoffs if you have those kind of numbers. They're just really struggling with injuries right now. Cedric Paquette, day-to-day. Hopefully he'll be in the lineup. Josh Anderson was sick. He did play on Tuesday. Hopefully he's good to go tonight. We expect him to. Jonathan Drouin still dealing with the head injury, but it's not a concussion. So what is it? Look, I don't know. He's not expected to play Thursday. Okay, so now they're saying he's still experiencing headaches. But Ducharme was making a huge point of to not call it a concussion. So this is a very tricky game here. This totaled at 5.5. There's been I don't know if I'm sorry. Let me make sure that I'm logged in here. I'm not logged in. So that wasn't the proper opener. Let me get this here right now. So there's been no movement on the under. Under 5.5 was juiced to -112. It's still right there. And when we go to money lines, we have Calgary opening up at -125. They're now -132. A 7-cent move towards them. I don't think that Montreal is just a straight fade. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't. We have 64% of the tickets on Calgary. We don't know what the cash flow is like right now. 81% of tickets on the over. I think this is going to be a spirited affair, and I'm not comfortable with it. There's Sanka in the house. Glenn Elliott Mann says Calgary -1 at +124. Yes, we are on Edmonton, and I'm going to be on the under 6 as well in that game. Jimmy Gomez says lean, puck line, Calgary not done capping. All right, and there is Dennis Trusty in the house. There's Razor Sharp Bears. And there's James Little in the house. Yes, I'm on the Islanders, but I took them on the -1 line. Birdie in the house says, I can't bet this game. My mind says Flames, but my numbers say Habs. I'm staying off. It would be Habs or nothing if I bet. I agree with that look. It would be Habs or nothing. And then Slides says Flames or nothing. Says Allen getting burnt out. Cedric Paquette out. Being out for the Habs is a plus for them. Flames off a bad loss. Flames regulation at +115. There's Rez Mob in the house. Birdie says we're head-to-head on the Oilers, Jimmy. Well, Birdie, if you win your bet, then I expect I'll cash the under. Dark Kent in the house. And the taint play of the day is in. The taint play of the day is in, and it's running hot. Birdie says loving Boston here. Clearly, both teams were looking ahead at this game. So, look, it's a very, very exciting spot that I'm extremely excited to watch. All right, let's move on. That is the Stop Camming says, why no Canadian teams in the NFL, but Canadian teams in every other sport? Because if we have a Toronto NFL team, there will be no CFL. We need Toronto in the CFL, even though fans don't go. We just need the biggest market in the country to be part of the CFL. That's the issue we have here. All right, let's move on to LA Kings, 7-5-1, 2-3-1 on the road. Ottawa Senators, 3-8-1, 2-5-0 at home. Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, Ontario. I'm expecting they have Calvin Peterson up, but it could easily be Johnny Quick in net. They also have Matt Murray listed. I don't know if you guys know who is going to be in net for these two teams. Matt Murray, 0-4, 3.10 goals against average, 897 save percentage. I believe he's the third best goaltender for the Senators right now. This Kings team is rolling, coming in off their 6th straight win, 3-2 at Montreal on Tuesday night, 17.7% power play, 72.2% penalty killing. I don't know how they're doing it. I do not know how they're doing it. They don't have depth. They have young players, and Mr. Gokster's talked about how strong their AHL team has been and how deep they are, and I need to watch them more. And Billy Friedrich says Gustafson is confirmed in goal. Thank you, Billy. And Glenn Elliott Mann says last time a Canadian team played an American team, Hamilton Tiger-Cats beat the Buffalo Bills 38-21. Look, there's been times when we've had, the CFL's had a better team than the NFL. Those times are long, long gone. But look, in the 50s for sure. And you have to think, even those Warren Moon Eskimo teams would have given the NFL teams a real run for their money. So Ottawa enters off their 5th straight loss, 3-2 at Boston. The situation here, there's Cindy plays horses in the house. Ron Crawford ready to get to work. Ron Crawford, I loved Ron Crawford coming in late last night with yesterday with the Leafs. I loved it. So let's move over to the injury report. Because I just wanted to have the latest injury report here. So for the Kings, you have Elias Anderson. Remember, he was a 7th overall pick by the Rangers, I believe, in 2019. He's sidelined right now. Victor Arvidsson and Gabriel Velarde are dealing with COVID, so they couldn't cross the border. And then we know Drew Doughty's out long term. I don't know how they're doing it, and it's similar to what the Sharks are doing, but I find it makes capping extremely difficult. Let's go to Ottawa. You got Josh Brown with COVID-19, Victor Met with COVID-19, Dylan Gambrell, Connor Brown. He's a Nick Holden, Austin Watson. I mean, it's Connor Brown that you need in. I mean, you need that guy. He played his best game of the year against the Leafs before he went down. So there's just even Jack Capuano, their coach, not their head coach, but even he's dealing with it. So the volatility just is out of control. Spreadsheet play today is the Islanders for Ron Crawford. The puck bunny play of the day for Mike M is the LA Kings. I'm going to stay away from this game. I think there's just far too much. This would also, we'll take a look at the market, but at this point, it makes me feel like it's a Senators or no bet here. I'm going to get Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today in for the Isles. And that's the next game we're talking about. And let's just take a quick look at the market here. The Senators open up at -101. They're now -106, a 5-cent move towards the Senators. So another thing here, and there's Jacqueline Martin. Great to see you, Jacqueline Martin. Thank you for joining us. Slatsy says, Danault playing gives Kopitar more time on offense. Kings do this without Doughty, beat Habs and Leafs, but the line scares me. I agree. I mean, that's well put. And in this spot here, if any team could get reinforcements, it can only be the Senators because they're at home. Rem Mo says this total at 6. I'm just telling you, the volatility is just nuts here. I don't want anything to do with this game. You cap these teams all year long with a certain roster, and then that roster completely changes. Lance LaRose leaning Kings. That boy Cold likes the under in the Kings game. I get it. Brady says when you lack talent but you have effort, you can win, especially versus good teams. Effort is the great equalizer. Kings are winning on effort only. I'm with you, Jim. Censor nothing. No look ahead here. Slatsy says, Jose, you have Kings at +250 on the graphics. Okay, don't worry. Okay, let's move on. We move on to a spot that I'm on. Ron Crawford says spreadsheet play of the day is the Islanders. We're moving on to college basketball. Thanks for Maxwell Smart. I will speed this up. So hopefully we'll get to college basketball at 11:55. So hopefully we can get through this in 20 minutes. So the Islanders, I moved on, and I got -1 at +117. So the money line was -135 when I moved on it. And when I looked this morning, the market had moved against me. This total sitting at 5.5 is slightly juiced to the under. Let's go to the money line here and open it. Okay, so market's moving back with me. Okay, that makes me feel good. So I've beaten the move by 5 cents, and the Islanders opening up at -137. They're now -141. Glenn Elliott, man, on the Islanders. Devils under 5.5. We'll take a quick look at – oh, sorry, that was my Krejci report there. Let's move over to the market here. By the way, in the Ottawa spot for the money line, 72% of the tickets and 99% of the cash are on the LA Kings, and the market has moved 5 cents towards the Ottawa Senators. Do it that what you will. And also 69% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the over, which is interesting. Here in this Devils-Islanders game, you have 63% of the tickets on the Islanders and 35% of the cash. So bigger bets are clearly coming in on the Devils. You have 41% of tickets on the over, but 73% of the cash on the over. So bigger bets are coming in on the over. Billy Friedrich says Isles Devils are combined 7-14 to the under first period this season. So I'll take the under 1.5 first period. Henry Dice says the Devils can be annoying. So they were saying that it was very likely that Varlamov was going to be in goal. That surprised me. I would have thought it was Sorokin. Mark Schlemberg says, "Who do we know who is in net?" Mike Butler in the house. Great to see Mike. Says New Jersey been playing better. I think they're getting pumped that Blackwood's in goal. I agree. I think they're getting pumped that Blackwood is in goal as well. But I'm not. Look, I know he's going to represent, be one of the goalies for America in the Olympics, which I can't wait for. But I don't know if I certainly don't think he's an elite goaltender at this point. 1-0-1, 3.01 goals against average, 9-10 save percentage. Islanders power play at 16%, penalty killing at 84.6%. The Devils power plays at 14.3%. Their penalty killing at 74.4%. That can't really be trusted. Islanders had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 5-2 loss at Minnesota on Sunday night. The Isles are a healthy group. I looked, they're 22-1 right now to win the Cup, which isn't that much different than what we bet them at. But I did save a bullet to bet on the Islanders after this, right around this 13-game trip. By the way, Nathan McKinnon is out for the next 3 weeks with a lower body injury. The Avalanche to win the Cup, they have Cale Makar out. They have Samuel Girard out right now, is climbing. So now we're at 7-1 for them to win the Cup. And I think in about 2.5 weeks, we could get 9-1, 10-1 on the Avs, and we strike. We fucking strike. Jack Hughes remains out. The Devils still waiting for Dougie Hamilton to return the lineup. He has not. So That's what's up. Daryl Lyles says, being a minute. Nice to see you, Daryl Lyles. It's been some time, my man. Says Fullerton, San Jose State over 147. Mally Mal looking at the under in this spot. I'm going to copy and paste that look here and so I can talk about it. Thank you for sharing that with us. There's Brian Watson ready to go. All right, so let's keep rolling. That's the Islanders spot, but I'm not alone on the Islanders. I am joined by none other than Ron Crawford. Islanders spreadsheet play of the day. Jimmy Gomez says when the Isles win, they control the puck possession. They will win. They will hold the game to under 5.5. I will only bet Isles here, though. Just my thoughts. I agree with that. James Lill says, can you talk Cal State Fullerton versus San Jose in basketball today? James Lill, what we do is for those of you who have questions in NCAA basketball, it's for the 4 p.m. show. I'm not sure if we'll have time. We got to be tight here. I will copy and paste it, but they're going to do a question and answer spot here. And Birdie says he's all over the Canucks. All over the Canucks here. And Cindy has a spa race that she's popping. Could you pop that up on the board here? There's Kev Riley in the house. So I'm going to put that note down. You know, we're not just going to completely forget about it, but that's for the 5 p.m. So I said 4 p.m. That's 4 p.m.'s NBA pop-up. That's for the 5 p.m. Maxwell Smart and C-Max show. Okay, let's move on. We got to be quicker. Next up for us is Florida Panthers at Pittsburgh Penguins, 7 p.m. Eastern. Panthers 10-2-1, 3-2-1 on the road. Penguins 4-3-4, 3-3-2 at home. We're at PPG Paints Arena. Bobrovsky has looked very good so far this year. 6-0-0, 1.72 goals against average, 948 save percentage. Tristan Jarry 4-2-3, 2.28 goals against average, 926 save percentage. And I actually believe in Jarry, and I know I take a lot of heat every time I say that, but that is facts. I do believe in him. I think he can be a good goaltender. Florida's power play at 23.8%, penalty killing at 81.6%. Pittsburgh's power play just at 10.8%. As soon as they get Crosby healthy and then Malkin comes back, this power play will improve. But remember, we were astonished last year how well they were playing without a power play clicking. It's not the power play that we remember from 3 years ago. But we'll see if that changes. Creighton over for Cuban Connect. Creighton over. Kev Riley on the New Jersey under 5.5. Sorry, I'm just trying to copy and paste all these looks for you guys. Put that right under Matty Ice's taint play of the day. All right, so let's go back to this Florida spot. Here we go. Panthers coming off an ugly 7-3 loss in New Jersey on Tuesday night. Mason Marchment, Joe Thornton, Marcus Nudvarand, and Oli Uolevi remain injured. Last two are defensemen. Pens coming off their second straight loss, 3-2 at Chicago on Tuesday, and they've been just dealing with COVID, and Crosby finally comes back, and then they lose him. So they have Dumoulin, Ruedel, and Marcus Pettersson on the COVID-19 list. Let's get the most recent update on Sidney Crosby right now and see if he's possible to come in. Sidney Crosby, Brian Dumoulin are close to finishing their isolation periods from COVID-19 protocol. So that's where we stand. So, you know, Mike Sullivan saying, as soon as I get word from the training staff and our COVID department, they can rejoin the team. I anxiously await their arrival. So that's where we are at. So he's not on the ice. Don't expect him to be here tonight. So without him and the Panthers coming off an ugly loss, are the Panthers the play here? Florida opening up at minus 122. They're now at minus 120. This Penguins team always seems to play better than we expect. But I think the Panthers are the play here the more that I talk about it. Let's move over to the cash flow situation. You have 89% of tickets, 95% of cash on Florida. The market's not moving towards them, which is strange. Mark Schillingberg says Crosby on Saturday. Kevin Riley's on Pittsburgh and the over 6. And Birdie is on the Sharks money line, Canucks money line, Sharks Canucks, and Panthers money line and under 5.5. Blues, Nashville. Oh, sorry. Panthers money line, under 5.5 in Blues, Nashville. Sharks money line, Canucks money line. I'm going to copy and paste both of these. Florida, Malimouse says Florida got the players back. The line kind of says otherwise at minus 115. And, Pettersson and Ruedel back tonight. Thank you, Mark. That's big. That's big. Both teams coming off of losses. You know, I still think the Panthers are the play here. And I think this is an angry group on the road. I'm going to take the Panthers on the minus 1 line I'm going to take the Panthers on the -1 line. That's going to be in addition to my card. Let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Washington Capitals at Detroit Red Wings at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. I took the bet, the Detroit Red Wings at +115. And legitimately here, I went over the two teams' rosters. And with Nick Dowd, who came back for 3 games and then Matt back on IR, Anthony Mantha, TJ Oshie, and Nicholas Backstrom on IR, the Detroit Red Wings are a better hockey team than the Washington Capitals. At home. At home. You know, in Washington and Verizon, but at Little Caesars Arena, I think the Detroit Red Wings roster is better and shouldn't be at a plus line. That's how I see this spot. Washington snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 5-3 win at home over the Sabres on Monday night. Another thing that's happened with this Washington team that we can look forward to is they need wins. They're trying hard to get wins. They know that they're hurting, and so that they're playing their best against teams like the Sabres. So there doesn't seem to be any letdown spots for the Capitals. They're really stepping it up against the worst teams in the league. Wings come in off a 4-2 win at home over the Oilers on Tuesday night. Troy Stetcher, who is, decent, and Jacob Vrana are injured. And look, I truly, going over these two teams' rosters right now, with what Washington's dealing with, I think Detroit's better. I think Detroit's just a better hockey team. But the market's moved way against me. Wings opened up -1 or +115. They're now +124. Even at Bet365, I would have got 5 cents better. So that makes me uncomfortable. Let's move over to the cash flow in this spot. 1,576 tickets in, 85% of the tickets, 97% of the cash on Washington. 41% of the tickets, 66% cash on the under. So, look, the market move is very uncomfortable. But I'm on the Red Wings at +115. Mally Mouse's Detroit teams take care of home for the most part. Henry Dice looking at the over. We are getting into NCAA basketball right after this. Cool. Okay, so let's keep moving. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern, Nashville Predators at St. Louis Blues. Predators 7-5-1, 4-2-1 on the road. Blues 8-2-1, 3-1-0 at home. Enterprise Center at St. Louis, Missouri. I'm expecting Connor Ingram to be in net for the Nashville against Jordan Binnington. Certainly that makes Nashville a little more susceptible than having UC Saros in net. Nashville's power play at 26.3%, penalty killing 80.4%. It's very good. St. Louis power play at 33.3%. It's so good. Penalty killing 88.9%. They're playing very well. They're dealing with Shen being out, amongst others, extremely well. They're getting over their COVID issues as well. St. Louis opens up at -157. They're now -189. Just an enormous move towards St. Louis. And look, I know Nashville's on the second half of back-to-back, coming off a win and feeling good about themselves. But look, I know that the Central Division is the best division in hockey, and St. Louis is a really good hockey team. But I don't really want them. I just don't. Let's just move over to their injury report here quickly. But I don't know if they're as good as a lot of people are making them out to be. I certainly don't think they're, the best team in that division. You have no Torrey Krug because of COVID, Kyle Clifford, Ville Husso, Nico Mikola, and they're still playing very well. There's Big Show in the house. Nice job. Look at that. 3+ money bets in the Dallas-Nashville game. Over 5.5 plus 337. That must have been live. Beautiful work. Nashville team total over +105 in a 2 intermission bet. The final score before 2. Wow, Big Show. Spectacular work, man. Kevin Riley on Nashville +1.5. The market just flying towards St. Louis here. And St. Louis, 1,185 tickets. We only know the tickets. Right now, we don't know the cash flow. We know 85% of the money line tickets are on St. Louis, and 62% of tickets are on the over. And Billy Friedrich likes Caps first period -128. Says Caps usually start well and fizzle. I think you're right, Billy Friedrich, because they come to play. Birdie is a horse bet, Chelmsford City race 3, and I would break it down and watch the race. I can't right now. He's on Glen Clove to win place. Crazy pedigree, first time starter, good jockey. Let's go. That's Chelmsford City race 3. And Nick, I use 2 different sites. I use Sports Insights for the tickets, and I use a different site for the market moves, like when they're happening. And if anybody wants to know that site, hit me on Twitter, and I will let you guys know. Predators Blues. Only site I really want to talk about tonight is Pub Sports Radio. I'm so proud to work here, and I really, so that's really the only site I want to talk about here. So I'm off this game. Let's move over to Sharks Jets. I am on the Winnipeg Jets. This market has moved against me, and barely. Actually, it's coming back. Minus 185 opener now, minus 181 at Pinnacle. It's coming back. I'm really upset that I was on the Flames because I thought the Sharks, after losing 2 straight, dealing with all these COVID issues, so many players out of the lineup would really come together when they got on the road for their first game. But they'll get worse as this trip goes on. So these are the guys that didn't make the move. Timo Meier, Kevin Labanc, Erik Karlsson, Jacob Middleton, Mark-Edward Vlasic, Radim Simek, and Matt Nieto. And they're still, they've come together. They're led by Logan Couture and Brent Burns. So, and look at this. Wow. Erik Karlsson was scheduled to join the other San Jose players who are in COVID protocol on the ice Tuesday. So they're not in Canada, but they're going to play on Saturday night. Michael O'Brien watched shot last night. Nice job, Michael O'Brien. We haven't given Jose the movie for this week. We still have to do that. So, look, the Sharks, I think, will get worse and worse as this road trip goes on. And I should have probably backed. I should at least stayed off of that game against Calgary, especially with the Flames coming off that 6-0 win. So Sharks snapped their 2-game losing streak by defeating the Flames 4-1 on Tuesday night. Their power plays at 21.1%. Their penalty killings at 90.3%. James Reimer is confirmed. 1.60 goals against, average 946 save percentage. He's looked really good this year. He's not that good. Connor Hellebuck is going to get better and better and better as the season goes on. He hasn't looked very good this year. His son was born last week. He'll keep improving. Jets coming off their second straight loss, 3-2 at home to the Blues. You guys were right. I mean, I beat the market move by 30 cents at Bet365, but Billy Friedrich was right. Those of you who were on the Blues, it was 2-1 Jets going late into the third period, and I thought I was going to be right, and I was not. So great work to Billy and all you guys that were making moves. Rocky Talk, guys, is happy Veterans Day to anyone in the chat, past or present, that has served in the military. Thank you for your service. Thank you, Rocky Top Guy. Let's get that up on the screen. Thank you, Rocky Top Guy. So Paul Stastny didn't practice on Wednesday, but he's feeling better. He's considered day-to-day. So I thought he was going to be in the lineup on Tuesday. I expect that he could be in the lineup today. I think he's going to be in the lineup today. We'll see. We'll see. Henry Dice says, what bookies give out the -1? Henry Dice, everybody, because you can build it yourself. And the bookies that give out the -1, you're usually better off building it yourself anyways, because they're going to, you know what bookies do, try to screw you. Kevin Riley was all over St. Louis in that game. Great work. You were. I remember that, Kev. My fault for not adding you. Great work. I think it was the wrong side. But you guys won, and that's all that matters is when to cash a bet. All right, so I'm on the Jets here on the -1 line. We move on to 9 p.m. Eastern, Canucks, Colorado. We have 3 games left, and we'll move into college basketball. So if I can get this done in 5 minutes, we're going to be right on pace. Vancouver Canucks 5-6-2, 3-2-1 on the road at Colorado Avalanche, 4-5-1, 2-2-1 at home. Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. The big story here is Nathan McKinnon out 3 weeks for the Colorado Avalanche with a lower body injury. It happened during the game. I didn't know when it happened. Brian Watson said, got great-grandfather 21 killed in World War I. Bless them all. Absolutely. Absolutely, Brian. So many, we lost so many. And yeah. Thank everybody for their service. And sorry to hear that, Brian. So he played 20 minutes and 40 seconds, 2 shots on goal. He's got 10 points, only 1 goal this year, and he's not going to be there. Nazem Kadri's been much better than expected this year. The big issue right now is Cale Makar's been out since October 30th. Now, he could come back tonight. Samuel Girard doesn't look like he couldn't finish practice yesterday, so I don't expect him to be there. So, look, this is a hurting Avs team, and it's probably a great spot for the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks are probably they got to be the bet here, don't they? This bet, it was taken off the board earlier with the news of the injury, but the Canucks are plus 165. Cheshire Cat says, why can't the Canucks score? I mean, they put up 6 goals in that win over Dallas. How are the Canucks not the spot here? With all these hurting defensemen, the Canucks finally get to get on the road. God. So look, I need you guys to know if it looks like I'm going to pull the trigger on the Canucks. I need you guys to know that I am 0 for 4 on sides when I bet the Canucks so far this year, and 0-1 in a total when I bet the Canucks. So I just don't see how the Canucks aren't the side here. Finally get on the road, and they're playing a team that's, I guess I really want to know what's going on with Cale Makar, and we don't know at this point. All right, let's move on into Minnesota Wild at Vegas Golden Knights. I came so close.
Give me a second,
Oh,
Jimmy.
shit, sorry.
Give me a second.
All right, we have Jose say a play of the day number 2 here. Jose, you're looking at this Canucks Avalanche game as well. What are you thinking here?
I've adopted the Nucks as my second team because of you. I'm on the Nucks money line. We're fucking riding, Jim. Me, my freaking all my hair that I have going on. I like my different hairstyles, by the way. I don't know about you.
I could care less. I could care less about your hairstyle.
So yes, the Nucks. We're on the Nucks. We're on the Nucks, Jim. We're winning. This is the first time we're winning this year. Me and you together. We're going to win the Nucks bet. And guess what, Jim? You're going to ask, what line did you get him at? Yes. Plus 165. Jim, plus 165. Bet him. Nathan, not there. We're winning. The Sedin twins are coming out of retirement to win this game for us. The Spirits, we've got this.
All right, you've heard it from Jose. The say hey play of the day number 2 in business. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Cheshire Cat says definitely not taking the Canucks now. Okay. All right. All right, let's move on. We have this Wild Vegas game. I came so close to betting the Wild. I just can't take them on the second half of a back-to-back. It's just they're coming off their 4th straight win, 5-2 at Arizona last night. They get into Vegas. I mean, it's just not easy to get rest and to be ready to go against this Vegas team that's more than they're fighting so hard out there right now with all the injuries that they are dealing with. So I could have got plus 100 on Minnesota. They're now minus 110, and I get it. I completely get it, but I still just can't. It's just too tough. In fact, I should probably bet Vegas here. Even though that's tricky with no William Karlsson, Mark Stone, Pacioretty, Nolan Patrick, Zach Whitecloud. I should, but still, Vegas is probably the play here. Or I let it go. I'm not sure if, I don't know if I should pull the trigger here, which brings us to our newest clip. And this will pop out whenever we're not sure if we should pull the trigger on something.
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
I don't know if I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'll just let Trusty do the talking.
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
All right. I'm not sure. Not sure if I should pull the trigger here on Vegas, but I think I've completely flipped from the. But yeah, Lance LaRose saying Wild starting to click together. All right, let's move on to the final game and then get into college basketball. Anaheim Ducks at Seattle Kraken. Ducks 7-4-3, 2-2-2 on the road. Kraken 4-8-1, 3-2-0 at home. We're at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington. Gibson Grubauer. Gibson 6-2-2, 2.349, 27 save percentage, 1 shutout. Grubauer 4-5-1, 2.97 goals against average, 886 save percentage. Hasn't been that good. Cheshire Cat saying they're not getting pucks to the front of the net, the Nucks. And you're right, Cheshire Cat. They don't have toughness. They don't have any toughness. And that's Luke Shen is out of the lineup. And Luke Shen has some of the worst Corsi numbers in the entire league. And he's still important to have on there because they have no toughness at all. I don't know what Benning and Aquilini want. But you know what? They should invest in a figure skating tour is what they should do. Because they can't run a hockey team. Because in hockey, you need toughness. You need to be a tough team to play against. And they don't seem to be able to wrap that around heads. Ducks, Kraken. Osby says, I'm done doubting the Ducks. Ducks enter off their 5th straight win, 3-2 in overtime over the Canucks. Silverberg and Raquel remain out week to week. I'm still surprised that they're doing this. Anaheim's power play, 27.1%. Penalty killing, 85.7%. Look, Getzlaff is leading the way, and they've got snipers that are now older and taking care of business. Terry looks awesome. Steele, I mean, there's Nuke Worker in the house. Is late to the party. Was at a cenotaph in Newcastle for the Remembrance Day ceremony to honor our veterans, lest we forget. Thank you. That's beautifully put. Well done, Nuke Worker. Imp says, being a little minute. Imp 13 says, Oilers, Islanders, Panthers, Kings, Flames, Vegas moneyline parlay. So I'm not going to take the Ducks here after winning 5 straight. I'm not going to do it. So let's just see what this market move is. We have Anaheim at plus 144. I mean, you'd think they would have. Oh, and by the way, Seattle's getting healthier as well. Look, at that price, how do you not take? You might say, how do you not take Anaheim? And I would get that. Let's just take one last peek here. Why Seattle's gotten healthier? So they still have Yanni Gourde, Donato, Appleton out, but it's all about McCann. They need McCann back badly. I'm not going to take the Ducks after winning 5 straight. There's a reason why this line's plus 145, and I imagine that the public is on them here. 73% of the tickets, 70% of the cash on Anaheim. Okay, so there is our NHL card right now. I moved on 4 bets before the show started. Oilers plus 125, Islanders -1 at plus 117, Red Wings plus 115, Jets -1 at minus 119. I am going to add the Canucks, and I am going to add the under 6 in Bruins Oilers. Jose Sehe plays of the day. He's with me on the Oilers at plus 125. He's also got the Canucks at plus 165, which is a fun way of doing it. It'd be a fun way to do Vegas tonight. Put a couple big bets. If one of them cashes, you're in profit. If they both cash, you're golden. All right, let's move on to college basketball with the man of the hour. What a spectacular performance by Maxwell Smart yesterday. And again, I keep going back to the Coppin State game, but that capping there was so good. 22% from the field, 8% from 3. They sit there. Best player for most or all the second half. Max would know the exact details of that. A team that wants to move the ball fast and wants to get up a ton of threes. The first half, I believe they lost by a point. We had them plus 14.5, and that over was an easy casher. Max goes 6-2 yesterday, plus 3.82 units. The Wake Forest first half full game, even though I got a little nervous about the full game there a couple times, but they were up, 28 or something at the half. Cash. The Maryland Eastern Shore Temple under, I went with, I love the cap, was a cash. North Florida, he loses by a half point. I mean, he could have easily been sitting here 7-1. Alabama State Vandy over was easy casher. Northwestern State Tulsa under was his loss, and the only legitimate loss, really. Copper State DePaul over 148 was a casher. Copper State first half plus 14.5. He is now sitting, and I believe, Jose, do we have his graphics for his record at this point? Let's pop it up there with what he's doing. 8-6. 57.1% plus 1.42 units, average line minus 110. And it was fucking huge, man. It was fucking huge. People not believing him after one day of the season. Of course, he's going to come back with great vengeance and strike down upon thee. Please welcome to the show, Maxwell Smart in the house. Maxie, great work yesterday. How are you, my friend?
Thanks very much, Jimmy. Jimmy, obviously, I'm happy it's college basketball season. I don't have to watch baseball games anymore, and that makes me quite happy because baseball makes me sad. So I'll say this, Jim. Sure. We know this, and I've said this for, I guess, like the last 4 years or 3 years that we've been doing shows together. I am a roller coaster. I have bad days. I have good days. At the end of it, hopefully I'm going to be at the plus. But, yesterday was a good day for games that I chose. I'm happy that the mid-major slate and the read that I had on games who already had a game under their belt worked out well. And all I can do now is take that positive energy and hopefully apply it to today's games.
Well put, Max. Well put. You sound like a veteran of this business, man. Look at that. That was beautifully put. I was. It meant a lot to me. To watch you bounce back like you did yesterday.
I'll say this, Jim.
Yeah,
it meant a lot to me to watch you and Razor take shots last night. I loved it. It was fun.
I loved it too. And our man Razor about to take the family to Disneyland right now. It was look, I would have been a mess had I not gone 4-0 in college basketball last night. So I thank you for that. Let's get right to work, Max. Max has picked 5 games he is attacking here on the card. We start at 6 p.m. Eastern. Beautiful. For all of you guys who want action early, for all of you guys out west who might be working at 3 o'clock, you want action to get through the last couple hours of your day. Vermont Catamounts, 10-5, 10-4 in the American East last season at Northern Iowa Panthers, 10-15, 7-11 in the MVC last year. We're at the McLeod Center in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Northern Iowa coming in off a shocking 62-58 home loss to Nichols as 14-point favorites. We have Northern Iowa market moving towards them. They open up at -4.5. They're now at -6.5. Let me get the totals up here as well. And this total opening up at 135. It's now at 133 or 133.5. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, we have 1,689 tickets in, 58% of the tickets, 90% of the cash on Northern Iowa on the spread. And then 79% tickets, 93% of cash on the over, yet this market is dropping. All right, Max, we get back to work after a beautiful 6-2 day. You were a half point away from a 7-1 day. Take it away, Vermont, Northern Iowa.
Yeah, I think that we get an early season clash of mid-major ballers, and with Northern Iowa, obviously this was a team that had to learn how to play differently and had to get guys to step up into roles that they weren't necessarily comfortable with, and that showed in their results. Now they got their key cog, AJ Green, back, and as good as AJ Green is, he's got to put this team on his hip and he's got to freaking take them through that Missouri Valley Conference schedule. And shooting 1 for 14 like he did against Nichols at home is unacceptable. So I expect a Northern Iowa team to come out strong today against this Vermont team who hasn't played a game yet. With Northern Iowa, we know that they're going to play a lot of two-man game between AJ Green and Austin Fife. Austin Fife had 20-9 in that game against Nichols. And with Nichols, this is a deep team. Nichols is not a shady loss. I definitely didn't think that they should lose, but I'm not gonna bury them for an at-large bid later on in the season because of that loss. I think that it's going to be important for Trey Burhow to go back to his complementary role, his three-point shooting threat type role. And if he can knock down shots with AJ Green, who probably is not going to shoot 1 for 14 again, I do think that there is value with the line moved at where it is to take Northern Iowa in the first half. What is definitely something that you need to keep in mind is how is Coach Jacobson going to incorporate the young freshman that started for this team last year alongside AJ Green? How is Noah Carter going to become that X factor that he was last year again this year? So there's question marks with this Northern Iowa rotation and what's going to happen with this team. But Vermont, let's talk a little about them. Vermont lost Steph Smith. This is a team that definitely has not brought in the offensive scoring weapons in the backcourt that they need to be dominant like they used to be in the American East. I think that they are solid defensively, especially in the backcourt with Justin Mazzulla and Ben Shenungu. But they brought in Cam Gibson from Western Carolina. They're hoping that he can be that spot-up three-point shooter in the corner for them in the backcourt, because when you look at the front court, there's no problems there. They can play big. They can play 4 out. With Thomas Murphy, the Northeastern transfer, works and plays well beside Ryan Davis. And if Ryan Davis has a big game, it's going to be tough for Northern Iowa to win and cover. That's just the plain and simple truth. This is a player that can play close to the bucket. He can stretch you out on the perimeter, and he can hit a 3-point bucket. If Vermont gets backcourt scoring, I think that they have a good chance of covering the game full game. But the play that I want to give out on the show is I'm going to look at the under. This is a Vermont team that is not going to want to get into those transition scoring opportunities. They're going to walk the ball up the court. They're going to make their opponent on defense take difficult shots and work the clock. So I understand that the number is moved 2 points. I still like it. I still think that this game struggles to get the 130.
Wow. Okay, well, let's get right to work. First off, a couple different books, lots of different stuff going on. The first half's -3.5 at a ton of books. At Bet365, it's -3 at -120. At FanDuel, it's -2.5, but at -122. It's tricky.
Yeah, the FanDuel number is the better number, even though it's elevated juice.
All right, and that's what you want?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to start here with Northern Iowa. I love the idea of the bounce back spot for them early, -2.5 and -122 for Max. And then Viper NB says, tail Max, win money, buy booze, rinse, and repeat. And there's Tease in the house. I hope he's still in Vegas. I think he's still in Vegas right now. Much love to you, Tease, my guy. And
Much
then
love
we're going
to
to get you the under here. So let's move over there. We have 133.5 at FanDuel. We have much higher at other books, right? Let me just see what we're here. We have, oh no, that's the best right now, 133.5. Let's see. Here we have 133.5 too. So 133.5 is the highest we can get you, and the 133.5 unders at -106 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Under 133. Under 133.5 at -106, available at FanDuel. All right, there we go. Max is on the board. Vermont Catamounts, Northern Iowa Panthers. Let's move on. We move on. Next spot for Max. And James Lowe saying, do you like UC Riverside plus Denver Arizona State? Again, I think for time issues right now, we'll see if we can get to your questions. I'll copy and paste them. But that's for Max's show at 5 p.m. CMAC hosts a question and answer period for Max. But we might be able to hammer a couple questions. I have copied and pasted that spot right here. And we do want to briefly talk about Taint. So next up, 7 p.m. Eastern, Merrimack Warriors 9-9, all in the Northeast last year. At NJIT, Highlanders 7-12, 6-10 in the American East last year. We're at the Wellness and Event Center in Newark, New Jersey. Merrimack comes in off a 77-48 win over Emerson College, just an exhibition game basically on Tuesday night. Let's see what we have here in this spot. Merrimack opening up as 2.5-point favorites. They're now 3.5-point favorites, but it says that Sports Interaction is still holding the 2.5. I will check that out. This total opened up at 131. There are 131s, 130s, and 130.5s available. I'm not sure if we have enough tickets in here to. Yeah, we have 504 tickets in, 67% of tickets, 69% of the cash on NJIT, and we have 73% of tickets, 65% of the cash on the over, and we have Max about to break down the next game on the card. Merrimack NJIT, take it away.
Yeah, with Merrimack, Jim, this is a team that plays fantastic ball hawking defense. They don't have usually a ton of size. That's not going to be the case this year. And usually they've had to run out a very little depth, and that also is going to be able to change this year. I think that when you look at that game that they just played, I think that the most important thing that you saw if you didn't watch the game and you just look at the box score is the fact that this was a Merrimack team that still shot 28% from three. They still shot 60% from the free throw line. Now you're going up against a D1 competition. You're going up against an NJIT team that definitely lost Zach Cooks. That hurts. That hurts big time. But there is definitely a possible X factor that could emerge early on in the season, and that's this Swedish import, 6'7" point forward, Jacob Manson. So if this guy has the skill that the beat writers are writing and talking about, I think that this could be definitely a situation that NJIT comes out and really surprises Merrimack, because they may have film on the kid, but I'm not sure that it's really going to translate to the style of play that and the role that he's going to play at the collegiate level. So with the Highlanders, they bring back Dylan O'Hearn, and that's a really solid backcourt scorer. Good size, just has to worry about staying out of foul trouble. And they went out on the transfer market and got Matt Faw from Holy Cross. This is going to be probably your go-to front court scorer from day one. And with Suleiman Diakite, you're going to be able to have a very nice size. You're going to have a very nice duo of size and a nice tandem to give you some good rim protection. So pushing people out and forcing them to shoot jump shots to beat the Highlanders is definitely something that they're trying to do. And I think that if you get some decent point guard play from Antoine Butler, I think that this team can be better than the prognosticators are predicting. So I just think that with Merrimack, I don't trust them to make 3-point shots. I don't trust them to take all the points they can at the free throw line. And I definitely don't trust them to go over 130 in this game. So I'm looking at the full game under, and I like NJIT as a home dog.
Well, let's see what we can give you. And I want to keep rolling. You're running hot right now. So I'm gonna start line shopping and see what I can get you while we move on to the next game. Let's do it like that. So I'm gonna look for. All right, let's move over here. So we're looking at NJIT as a home dog, full game, and the full game under. And I'm going to shop around for that while Max breaks down our next spot on the board. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, a Kennsaw State Owls, 5-19 last year, 2-13 in the ASUN at Creighton Blue Jays, 22-9. We are in Omaha for this one. Kennsaw State comes in off a really impressive, or I don't know. I'll let Max talk about that, I should say. Off an 84-73 loss to Iowa State. They covered. They were 15-point dogs, and they were in that game. Creighton comes in off a pretty lackadaisical 90-77 home win versus Arkansas Pine Bluff as 33.5-point favorites. So we have Creighton opening up as 20.5-point favorites here. That's dropped to 19, 18.5 at Bodog. This total at 148.5 hasn't moved. And when we go to the cash flow in this spot, we have just 680 tickets in. And listen to this, 67% of the tickets, 94% of the cash on Kennesaw State. So I can't wait. Take it away. Fascinating spot here. Kennesaw State, Creighton. Take it away, Max.
Yeah, Jim, Kennesaw State's a fascinating team because they have finally got in the type of players that they need to fit this scheme. And with Spencer Rogers and freaking Terrell Burden and Chris Youngblood, you have a trio of guards that can score from the perimeter. They can score from all three levels. You know, obviously Youngblood had a bad 3-point shooting game, but I don't expect him to shoot like that in every game. And going up against this particular version, the Creighton Blue Jays, it's important to note that this is the third year in a row that they played. They played an under, they played an over, and I just think that, also both games Kennesaw covered, but they covered a 26.5-point spread and a 37.5-point spread. So much different than the 18.5 that we're seeing right now. But this may be Kennesaw's best team that they've had in like 4 or 5 years. So when you look at Kennsaw, what they need to do this time around, they need a better start. They can't go down 8 or 10 or even more at the half and then rely on coming back in the second half. I think that when you look at this defense and this perimeter defense in particular, the amount of turnovers that they're going to force is only going to increase as they get more comfortable and some more chemistry playing again this year. I think that the issue at the free throw line is definitely something that they don't have. This is a team that is going to make free throws at the end of the game, so you have to be aware of that when you're betting some unders. But I think that as long as they can get better facilitation, they have some value full game. I'm not going to make an official pick. I like the over in this game, and that's just because what I see from this Creighton Blue Jay team is just a lot of different underlying pieces that are going to mold well and fit together with alongside really good coaching. So even though they're a Big East rival, my UConn Huskies are going to smack them around like a silly little freaking dog. I think that Creighton has a lot of intrigue. You know, this is a team that got Ryan Hawkins. They got 4-star recruit Arthur Kaluma. And with Kaluma and Hawkins, you know, you're going to get a double-double. You may get 30 and 15 from these guys. The one thing you got to worry about is just foul trouble. And then when you look at the point guard situation with my fellow Canadian Ryan Nembhard, he's a floor general. He's going to score points. He's going to facilitate the shit out of the ball. He's just got to keep the turnovers down. So with Creighton, you never know. This is a first half value spot on Kennesaw State because they went down 9 against Arkansas Pine Bluff and then had to have a 22-point turnaround in the second half. I'm definitely high and interested in getting on that Kennesaw first half number. And I think that the full game over is a good number. I think that anything under 151.5 is a good spot to get on the over. That's what I'm going to make official. And we're going to add Kennsaw first half to it also. Sorry for rambling.
No, that was great. Great. So, okay, let's get you the first half and the over, but we got you NJIT full game plus 3.5 at minus 112 at Pinnacle. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
And then we have the full game under 131 at minus 110 available at Sports Interaction.
All right, that works for me.
Beautiful. Then we're going to move on to Kennesaw State first half. And the total right now is the same right across the board, but we can give you just minus 105 juice at Pinnacle, over 148.5 at minus 105.
Yep, I'll take that.
Okay, full game over 148.5 at minus 105. And then first half, I'm going to shop right now for you, which brings us into our next spot on the board while I shop for a Kennesaw first half line from our Maxwell Smart. 10:30 p.m. We got a couple late night games for us that crave the late night action. Prairie View A&M 16-5 last year, 13-0 in the SWAC, but I believe they lost in the title game there, so should say 13-1 there. San Francisco Dons 11-14, 4-9 in the WCC. We're at the War Memorial in San Francisco, California. Prairie View comes in off an 87-68 loss at St. Mary's as 18-point dogs last night. San Francisco also played last night. 98-64 home win. Oh, I believe that might be on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was on Tuesday.
Thank you. Sorry. So I didn't mean to say last night. My fault. I didn't have that written here. So I believe that was Tuesday. San Francisco comes in off a 98-64 home win over Long Island as 20.5-point favorites. So we have this total opening up at 145.5. It shot all the way up to 148. And from a point spread scenario, we have San Francisco opening up as 17.5-point favorites. That's moved to 18. A Bulldog has moved it to 18.5. Here we go, Max. Next on the board, Prairie View, San Francisco. Take it away.
Yeah, Prairie View is a tough-minded team. They definitely want to play a lot of full-court press. They want to trap you. They want to turn you over. The problem was they weren't able to do that against St. Mary's, and they weren't able to stop anything that St. Mary's was putting up at the bucket. And now they're going to go and they're going to play this San Francisco Dawn team that a lot of people knocked on them because they didn't have the strength and they didn't have the physicality down low to support their undersized guards. Well, now they do. And I think that when you look at this San Fran Dawn team, you know, they got freaking Bouye, they got Shabazz back, they got Julian Rashawn, so he can come off the bench and give you that six-man scoring option. It's really hard to contain all three of them in one game, and I just don't think that Prairie View is going to be able to. I think that these Dons are going to be able to handle the pressure. I think they're going to be able to beat the press, and I think that they're going to be able to let their dynamic guards score a bunch. I think that you got a wing in Zane Meeks that I think that they need to give more playing time to. So if you know Todd Golden's phone number, give him a call and let him know that I said that. And I just think that this is a Dawn team that's going to be able to hit 40% of threes at home in a lot of games. And they're a consistent 80% free throw shooting team. So I like teams that can finish off when they are going to the free throw line in a late game fouling situation. And Prairie View is the type of team that doesn't give up until the end of the clock. So it could benefit us when it comes to this over. I look at the over as a similar situation to last night with the Coppin State DePaul team. We have a team that does want to play at a really high tempo. They have the same scheme and coaching with staff returning, and the starters are some of the same starters from last year. So I just think that for Prairie View, they got to play 40 minutes instead of 20 minutes when it comes to scoring, and they got to present some sort of defense at the rim if they don't want to get blown out by 25 to 30 points tonight. So they lack discipline in their first game against St. Mary's with fouls, and they couldn't force enough turnovers for the amount of energy that they were putting out on defense. So I just think that this is a spot where we got to take the over. We're getting the ass on the line. We're going against one of my rules, but I still think that there's value at that number. So give me the over in the game. And for all you guys that want to itching to bet a 18.5-point favorite, I'm not going to give it to you right now.
All right. Okay. Hanging on every word here. We do have a 147.5 at. Oh, by the way, I got you Kennsaw State first half plus 11.5 at minus 110. The other books have that juice. The Pinnacle minus 112, FanDuel minus 115, but Sports Interaction has that minus 110. Then we have the over. We do have a 147.5 on the board. Let me just quickly see if I can get better than that. Here, we got another 147 here. So I can get you the over 147.5. The other books have moved to 148, but Bodog and FanDuel are still hanging at 147.5 just with regular juice. So we're going to see over 147.5 here for Max, over 147.5 at minus 110. And that leads us into our T said, come on, Max, give it to us. And T-Mac says, Maxie, you're a ledge. He is a legend. And T-Mac, another capper from up here in Ontario. So we want to put we got a situation where we can all hang out together in the near future. Okay. Bill McDonald asking about the Air Force South Dakota game. Again, 5 p.m. Eastern, Maxwell Smart and C-Mac can be found hammering.
Sorry, Jim. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that game will be done by the time C-Mac and I go on.
Oh, shit. Okay. Did you have a move on it?
I did, but the line's already moved 5 points. I was on the first half under and the full game under in this spot, but my boy Tone, he's almost convinced me to take South Dakota first half. So that's the way that I'm looking at that game.
Okay, I hear you. Thanks for the heads up there. Next up here, 10:30 p.m. This is the final game before we move on to NBA. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, Northern Arizona Lumberjacks 6-16, 4-10 in the Big Sky last year against the Huskies, 5-21, 4-16 in the Pac-12 last year. Alaska Airlines Arena in Seattle, Washington. Northern Arizona coming off an 81-52 loss at Arizona as 26.5-point dogs. It's Washington that came off the shocking game. Ugly 71-64 home loss to Northern Illinois as 19.5-point favorites. Shocking situation. We have Washington. Where are we here? Opening up as 15.5-point favorites. Bet365 has moved to 16. Will Hill has it at 15. This total at 138.5. Sports Interactions dropped it to 138. So is Bodog. And let's see if we have any cash on this game at this point. No, nothing of any, nothing that can help us. All right, Max, take it away here. Your last game on the board, Northern Arizona, Washington.
Yeah, Jim, I don't want to be too harsh about your Washington Huskies, but goddamn, what a fucking embarrassment they are against Northern Illinois. I think that the plain simple truth is Mike Hopkins needs to be fired. We need to see more man-to-man defense. We need to see more up-tempo offense. And plain simply, I just don't think we're going to see that tonight. You have the guard pieces in Terrell Brown and Dejon Davis to set some freaking high ball screens and go to the rim on every possession, but they're settling for mid-range jump shots. They're settling for off-balance shots. And if they're going to do that again, they're going to waste the efforts of freaking of of Nate Roberts. But Nate Roberts had, I think, like 19 goddamn rebounds. So when a guy goes on the glass and sacrifices the body, takes those bumps and bruises to go and get you those extra opportunities or to stop your opponent from getting second chance opportunities, like, you got to reward them with a bucket. So I just think that this Washington team, they're always going to be a suspect team to go down early and not be able to come back. And if teams are going to be able to shoot over this zone like they were the other night against Northern Illinois, well, then you're going to have some hard times ahead. 52% and 12 3-point makes allowed is just unacceptable with this quality of defense, with this length. And if you can't guard without fouling, well, I don't know if you should be playing at the D1 level. 25 free throw attempts definitely did not help the cause. And I think that if you don't get a good shooting performance and an efficient shooting performance from the starting backcourt, I just don't see Washington being able to cover this game, like, even against the likes of Northern Arizona. And don't get me wrong, Jim, Northern Arizona is like the spit that I spit on the ground and then step on. Okay, they're garbage. Jalen Cone came over from Virginia Tech. Think that he could be a good scorer for this team. Not goddamn sure after I watched that first game, because 53% from the free throw line as a team is just unacceptable. And it's good for one thing and one thing only. Something that a guy that you're friends with, that I'm friends with, that we're friends with, the Master Jedi of Unders knows all about. And that's full game Washington Husky Unders. And if you want to get fancy, you can take the first half also, because I'm going to be on that shit too.
Is this a double up spot for you in unders?
I think that we have to, Jim. I think we have to.
All right, we can get you the under 138.5 at regular juice at minus 110. That's a full game under. While I'm doing this, we have, just before we break into NBA and NFL with Dutch Boy Fresh, we have a taint play of the day on Hawaii at home against Northern Colorado. Northern Colorado opening up as 1 point favorites, now 2.5 point favorites. And we have our guy on Hawaii. Can you touch on this look that Matty Ice is on with Hawaii?
Listen, I think that with Hawaii, there's a lot of question marks of who's going to step into roles of departed players. But when you were able to go on the transfer market and get Juan Munoz from Longwood and get Kamaka Hepa from freaking Texas, and then Jerome DeRoziers from the Ivy League, I think that you've done a really good job of fitting the holes that you had. I think that it's really a matter of finding the right complementary players to Junior Mado and Samuda Avea, and I think that they've done a good job of doing that. I think being at home is going to be in their favor. I just think that with Northern Colorado now having a game under their belt in their building, those sight lines and everything is not going to be new to them. And I think that if Northern Colorado definitely has their legs and has that backcourt scoring that they got from Dalen Kuntz last night, it's going to be a tough cover. So it's a game that I got to look a little further on, but knowing that the wonderful Lady Taint play of the day is on it, oh, it's Lady Taint all day. Let's go.
Ooh,
Matt Randall knows what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to college basketball.
He does. And so do you, Max, coming off a 6-2 day, a half point away from a 7-1 day. It was very impressive. It was a gorgeous bounce back spot. Let's review Max's action here. He starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. By the way, is Hawaii going to go on your ledger as your part of your action?
I'm gonna need a little more time on it, but I will send the signature tweet, text, or post message to you to let you know that it should be added on.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we have 6 p.m. Eastern, Northern Iowa, first half minus 2.5. He paid the juice for that spot, minus 122. There is threes at minus 120 and 3.5s at minus 110. He's on the under 133.5 at minus 106 in that game as well. He's on NJIT as a home dog, full game plus 3.5 at minus 112, and the under 131 at minus 110 in Merrimack NJIT. He's on Kennsaw first half plus 11.5 at minus 110, and the full game over 148.5 at minus 105 in Kennsaw Creighton. Then he's on Prairie View, San Francisco over 147.5 at minus 110, and he's doubled up on unders. Northern Arizona, Washington Huskies, first full game under 138.5, first half under 65.5. There you have it, Maxwell Smart. Excellent work yesterday. I love having you on the show. We will have Max back in action with us next week. Max, good luck to this evening. You can catch Max 5 p.m. Eastern with Connor Mack. That's right after our NBA Pub Hub. We're all basketball from 4 p.m. up until tip-off. Max, follow our man too, CBMS 420. Max, thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Any last words for the great cappers supporting the show?
Yeah, Jim, obviously, first off to you, I want you to have lots of shots, preferably with Razor on camera. Sure. Secondly, shout out to Dutch. He's going to bring the fire. Better fucking stick around. Like that shit. Share that shit. Because Dutch Boy Fresh is coming up. So I'm just happy that I could be on the same show with Dutch. And obviously to the low baggers, support local strippers. Don't dip your chicken tenders in honey mustard like our boy Boston Nick. And, support all the local strippers. Do it. Love it. Take care.
There he is. Maxwell Smart can be seen today, 5 p.m. Eastern with Connor Mack. We go from Maxwell Smart to our NBA expert right now, 7-4 on the show. 7-4 plus 2.88 units minus 104 average line. Dutchy, my guy. Great to see you. We love seeing you every Thursday. How are you, man?
Hey, Jimmy the motherfucking bag. Yeah, man. Salute to you, my guy. All the ladies, gents, and D-gents out there in Wi-Fi land. It's all love, bro. It's a pleasure to be back with you on a Thursday, my guy.
I love it. We all love it. Let's get right to work. We have 3 games in NBA and 1 in NHL, and there it is. There's that half point. So I can okay, so first off, I'm getting destroyed in NBA and taking a lot of heat for it, and it's fucking embarrassing, and, you know, it's happening. It's fucking happening. Not going to pretend it's not fucking happening. I give myself a 2K limit. If I go down 2K, look, I'll shut the fuck up. I'll let you guys do your thing, and I'll stop betting. But I'm not there yet. And, all right, it's happening. There. It's fucking happening. Not going to pretend it's not happening. It's right there. Fuck me. All right.
I hear you, man. It's been a rough season up and down. I've had my stretches as well, you know.
Losing the Cavs money line last night is about. I was even like shaking angry. I was shaking. I was like, this is gonna happen. Kuzma's not gonna do me like this. Kuzma's not gonna do me like this. Little bitch, Kuzma gonna do me like this.
Yeah, I stayed off the Wizards. I did like the Wizards in that spot. It was easy, a clear Cavalier spot. I can't believe they didn't pull it out there. That's unfortunate for you, but.
For fuck's sakes. But our man Dutch Boy Fresh, on the other hand, can we put Dutch's record up there, Jose? Can we take my fucking record off that? I can't look at that. You want me to look at that? It's actually 7-4. It's 7-4 plus 2.88 units because we had a communication breakdown that was on me here for the added picks, but we fixed all that up. So let's get to work right now. We start Raptors, Sixers, Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have the 2 slowest pace teams in the NBA overall on the season. Toronto 29th at 97.09 possessions a game. Philly 30th at 96.42 possessions. Come on, Jose, get that shit off the screen. I've seen it. I talked about it. Get it off the fucking screen, okay? I can't look at it. I won't be able to do the rest of the show. Thank you. All right. Then when we go to the last 5 games, they aren't the 2 slowest teams, but their pace is actually slower than it has been all year. Their pace is down to 95 possessions a game. And so I was sitting here going, how do we not take the under, because I do not believe that the pace will be as fast as what the Milwaukee Bucks brought to the Sixers. And we know what the Sixers situation is. We're not sure if Seth Curry is going to be back. Maybe you can enlighten us on that. But we're sitting here with Philly -3 and this total at 211 now at Sports Interaction. So I would have bet this already, but I stayed off. Nathan Cerna says Curry out with a leg contusion. Christopher Comatini says Jose trolling, and Embiid and Tobias Harris out. Yes. So no Embiid, no Harris, no Matisse Thybulle. And we know that Ben Simmons is, fucking sobbing somewhere. And then now Curry out. So let's go over to the cash flow in this spot. We have 3,127 tickets in. 53% of the tickets, 91% of the cash on the Sixers. Then 66% of tickets, 48% of cash on the over. So there's still big bets coming in on the under. Eric Jones liking the over. So the Sixers took their second loss in a row, 118-109 to the Bucks. But Maxey looked great, 31 points. And Paul Reed, played some defense. Raptors are on the second half of back-to-back after 104-88 at Boston last night. Scotty Barnes with 21, Van Fleet with 16, Gary Trent and OG Anunoby had 14 each, but they did not look good at all. Topset says over, so only Eric Jones saying over, only looks on the over at this point. Let's hear what Dutchy has to say. Raptors, Sixers, take it away.
Yeah, well, to touch on your over-under, I wouldn't be mad at the under, Jim. I know you touched on Reed a little bit, but neither one of these guys got anybody to protect the paint defensively. To be honest with you, I know. It's just the Sixers are a hard team for me to cap right now with so many fucking question marks. Who's playing? Who's not? Who's coming in? And they still somewhat kind of show up. But I was on the wrong side yesterday with the Raptors. I thought they would show up yesterday against the Celtics without Jaylen Brown, and they didn't do that. Now the Raptors are 5-1 ATS as a road dog. Obviously, the first loss was yesterday. I look for I want to look for the Raptors here, but I'm gonna attack the prop market, Jim, in this game simply because of all the question marks for Philly. But I could only lean look Raptors here when it comes to a side. The Sixers are 5-1 ATS in their last 6 versus a team versus a team that doesn't have a losing record. Now the Raptors are 6-6, but pretty much what I'm looking at here is when the Sixers play a decent team, it's questionable here simply because their best players aren't playing. I know, but we talk about Ben Simmons a lot, but I know he's out. He's been out the whole season, but without Tobias, without Joel Embiid, I just can't trust him at home. So I would look the Raptors. But what I do like here, Jim, is Fred VanVleet. He's like over 2.5 threes plus 120. Now he's went over this number the last 5 games, all 5 games of November. Now, and he's also, for the last 10 games, he's averaging 3.1 threes a game for the Raptors. So Fred VanVleet shooting right under 40% from the 3, around 37%, I believe. But he gets the attempts up. He will shoot them. He will get them over 2.5 threes. I like that. No one on the Sixers perimeter defense really scares me as well. So I look for Fred VanVleet to get easily over 2.5 threes. And then I'm also going to look at Andre Drummond. Jim, I mean, our guy Wham touched on it on the show the other night, 2 nights ago. I didn't get the number yet. It was 14.5 last time. I like that number if it's right there again. He's averaging 22.5 rebounds his last 2 games. And also the Raptors on the other side of it, Jim, they just, Precious is the biggest guy on the floor at 6'9", not the biggest frame. They allowed 12 rebounds to Jason Tatum last night, 13 to Williams, allowed 10 to James Harden the night before with 11 or 12 to Blake Griffin. And then also we cleaned up on Josh Allen the game before that. He had 16 and 15 against them. So they're giving up double-doubles left and right. I look for, Drummond to continue to get, around probably that 20 rebound mark, 15 easy tonight. If you have a solid number for there. It's here on the West Coast a little bit, so not too many props have came out yet, my guy.
Let's see what oh, no, not yet.
I know 14.5 sounds high. We said that on, I believe it was Tuesday, but he going to get it. He going to get it.
Okay, so we're going to wait to add that at this
Yeah,
point.
I'll be sure to tag you in a tweet when I see the numbers later in the day.
Okay,
but I will be on Andre Drummond rebounds.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so Drummond rebound's going to be on, and then Fred VanVleet. James Lill, the NBA show is at 4 p.m. Eastern, followed by the NCAA basketball show at 5 p.m. Eastern. So it's VanVleet over 2.5 threes at plus 120.
Yeah, that's the only official play I have right now. Like I said, I would lean Raptors here, coming off a loss against Boston last night, but I don't really want to put my money on this game, Jim. Too many questions for me.
Yeah, God, okay. It's tough. It's a tough spot. Let's move on because when T says Sixers will win this game, I guess I'll just stay off.
Yeah, they've been surprising me. And Maxey's been playing well. Little Niang off the bench too. The Cyclone, man, he's been playing big minutes. They've been getting it. You touched on Reed. They're surprising me. So I don't want to take a team in Toronto that I'm not that confident in as well. When a team that the Sixers continue to overachieve from what they have on the court.
And also, for those of you in the chat who don't know Tease as well as Dutchie and I, he's a professional gambler. Gambles for a living. Takes care of his family, pays rent, everything as a gambler. And there are not a lot of those in the world. So when T says something to say, your ears perk up.
Yeah, plus he's from Philly. Shout out to Tease, my guy. He hit me out here too. He did. I gave him a spot, the Golden Steer Classic Steakhouse out here. Wasn't able to, to go with him, unfortunately. But I hope you enjoyed it, my guy. I hope you enjoyed your trip here in Vegas. Shout out to you, Tease. Yeah,
he's a great guy, and he's everything that we all want to be, a professional gambler. Let's move on to 9 p.m. Eastern. Indiana Pacers 4-8, 1-6 on the road. Jazz 8-3, 4-0 at home at Vivint Arena in Salt Lake City, Utah. Indiana Pace this year 22nd at 98.38 possessions a game. Utah 24th at 98.05 possessions a game. Let's move on to the market move in this spot. We have the Jazz opening up as 9.5-point favorites. Now it's 10 right across the board. And some of the dice books out there that we don't talk about have gone to 10.5. And then the total opened up at 219 and it's dropping fast. 216, 215.5 out there. Pacers couldn't take advantage of the Nuggets team playing without Jokic. without Porter Jr. They lose 101-98. Utah had Wednesday off after beating up on the Hawks 110-98 on Tuesday. Shot 50.6%. They only scored 15 points in the fourth quarter. Just took their foot off the gas, but still won comfortably. Donovan Mitchell went for 27, 11 of 20, and the Hawks went for 18 in the fourth. But that was something we knew was going to happen because they were a tired group. Trae Young and Herter scoreless in the final 12 minutes. Impressive. Let's go. Pacers, Jazz. Let's just take a look at where the cash is here. 4,173 tickets in. Like you would assume at this point, 75% of the tickets on the Jazz, 78% of the cash, and then 42% of tickets on the over, 90% of cash on the over. Here we go, Dutchie. Pacers, Jazz, take it away.
Yeah, so the Pacers, man, I stayed out that game yesterday. I kind of liked them yesterday. Shout out to my guy, Ski Skeek. And talked me off of that, said that the boys would rally at home. And, Will Barton did his thing. Jeff Green and them, they handled business in Denver. Impressive win. I think the Pacers it was a tough game for them. But I like the Pacers here. I like them early, Jim. Now, the Pacers are 4-1 ATS in their last 5. They're 5-0 ATS in their last 5 versus a team with a winning percentage of 60% or better. So they play better. They play better against better competition. And Utah is one of the better teams in the league. But I'm going to focus on the first half here. And now the Utah, I'm going to fade Utah first half here. They're 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games first half, Jim. On the other hand, the Pacers are 3-2 ATS in the first half last 5. But we know if you watch Pacer basketball, they do, especially early, and they started off hot and then kind of fade towards the end. But coming off a back-to-back, I don't know if I'm not mad at the 10, but I definitely like the +6 here. I got it at 6, Jim, here, available at William Hill. Now, the last 2 meetings last year, these 2 teams played. Utah won both games by 8, covered one of them, but they did win both games by 8 points. But the Pacers were tied and up at both of these games at halftime. So they're 2-0 first half, the last 2 meetings versus Utah. I think, Sabonis had a good game last night. Wasn't too aggressive at the free throw line. Only had 1 free throw attempt. But I like his game offensively. He can get some rebounds. Miles Turner can get hot. Look for, Brogdon to be out there. He had a strep throat, said that it's not contagious, so he's playing. I expect him to go tonight again. McConnell's been lights out, too, as a backup or as a starting point guard, especially since this road game. The last 3 road games, Jimmy's averaging 17 points. Came off the bench last night and got 16. I just think that they'll hang around early. You're going to give me 6 points with Indiana first half. I got to take it there. They've been a fade first half of late. And I think, Utah will come around second half. Just need a couple of them 3-pointers to clank early. And Indiana to, rebound the ball. They got Dorte coming, in there, giving them solid minutes as well. I don't know if LeVert will be out there with the lower back issue, but I think they'll have enough, Jim, to get through that first half +6 Pacers.
Did you have any interest in just the first quarter in this spot for them to come out quick?
Yeah, I mean, when I like first halves, Jim, I like first quarters. But I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. If I bet a first quarter, it's auto fucking Brick City. So I don't know what it is. It's just like saying I'm getting greedy when I bet first quarters. So and to be honest with you, who really gets? I mean, I know these teams want to come out in that first quarter, but I just get mad when I bet a first quarter and I brick, and it happens more than often. So I do like, if I like a first half, I definitely would approve the first quarter, but I just do first half, Jim.
Yeah, I get it. That's why we keep records, to see what we're succeeding at, what we're struggling with. Was that +6, first half +6 at -110?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, let's move into the final game in NBA. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Miami Heat 7-4, 3-3 on the road at LA Clippers 6-4, 4-2 at home. We're at Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. Miami 27th in pace so far this year, 97.7 possessions a game, while the Clippers are 7th in pace at 101.65 possessions a game. The Clippers open up as 3.5-point favorites. It's now 4. And some of the dice books have moved it to 4.5. This total opened up at 213.5. It's now at 211.5. We have 4,047 tickets in. 32% of the tickets on the Heat. 42% of cash on the Heat. Expecting a bounce back without Jimmy Butler, who got hurt last night. 69% of the tickets on the over and 87% of cash on the over. Again, Heat on the second half of a back-to-back after losing 120-117 to the Lakers last night. Clippers are on a 5-game winning streak and looking good, man. 24 from Paul George, 23 from Reggie, and a 117-109 victory over the Trailblazers on Tuesday night. And the big situation with the Heat is Jimmy Butler's sprained right ankle. So his status is, I guess, still up in the air, but I don't know anybody. I was trolling for sure now. Trolling for sure. Bam goes for 28, Hero for 27. They're up 106-97 with 4:45 left and can't seal the deal. And, Bam being dealing with a knee injury, Hero being dealing with a back injury, but they're still playing. Looking forward to hear this breakdown. Take it away, Heat Clippers.
Yeah, Jim. Another game I stayed off last night was Miami. Good thing I did too. Jimmy Butler going out there. A lot of games on the board yesterday. But this game, this to me, I bet the Clippers the other night against Portland, and this to me is my favorite spot on the card. I really do like that Van Fleet prop a lot, but this is a clear Clippers right here, bro. They're gonna clip that ass. They're going to take advantage of Miami. They had a fucking overtime game. These guys play 40-plus minutes. You touched on them having little issues in and out of the lineup, questionable. Even if they all go, I wouldn't be surprised if we get late scratches. Jimmy's definitely not fucking playing, but they could all suit up tonight, and the Clippers going to beat that ass by 8+. Believe it. Now, the Heat are 3-2 straight up in ATS on the road. So they're not – I like the Heat, but they're not that great of a team on the road. They're lost 3 out of the last 4 games. They're 0-5 ATS in the last 5 meetings versus the Clip. I really like the Clippers here, man. 4-0 ATS in their last 4. 4-0 ATS in their last 4 as a favorite. Touched on it. They won 5 straight. PG's looking comfortable there running the show. Averaging 26, 7, and 5, I believe. Only thing I'm not really liking from him from a game aspect is the turnovers, almost like a little under 5. As long as the Clippers control the basketball, don't turn it over, and can knock down open Jays, what they have been doing. Batum's been hitting shots. Reggie found his jumper last game. We got Kennard, who didn't even have a good game. Look for him to bounce back tonight. The Clippers going to handle business at the house, bro. They're going to get all in that ass. I love this look. 3.5. I think it's up to 4 now. Whatever you can get, Jim. Best number. Clippers. I'll stay away from the first half. Maybe Miami might come out a little bit, but them legs is going to be tired, especially by that mid-third quarter.
Clippers -4 at -109 available at Pinnacle. Pacers first half +6 and -110. Fred VanVleet over 2.5 threes at +120. And we will see a Drummond rebound addition at some point. That concludes the NBA card. Let's move into NFL.
Real quick, Jim. Real quick. So you don't have no action? What? You don't have no action on the other game, the Pacers game, or this game?
Look, I've got to just take a step back right now and just take a step back. And
we got to get you out. We got to get you in the black, bro.
Look, I know that I can come back. It's just that I just need to take a breath and gather my shit. And
Clipper money. That Clipper good money, bro. That's the best look on the board.
I'm joining with you with the Clippers, Dutch. Join us, Jim.
All right.
Yeah, there's that little motherfucker, man. Don't he owe me a steak? This motherfucker pay you. Don't make me take your dinner dessert, bro. No.
Let's go ahead and get him the fuck out of here. All right, let's move on to NFL. 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Ravens 6-2, 2-1 on the road at Miami Dolphins 2-7, 1-3 at home. We're at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. My breakdown is all over the Tuesday show that we had, and basically, it comes down to the Ravens secondary not to be trusted, but it doesn't really matter against the Fish. In saying that, this is a huge spread, and to me, this is still Miami or no bet. And I'll go over some of my points here, but we don't have a ton of time, and we really want to hear Dutch's looks. So Baltimore here, -7.5. They opened at -7.5 at +104. It's now -101. So there's been a 5-cent move towards Baltimore. And then this total's gone from 47 to 46.5. We have 21,801 tickets in. 79% of the tickets are on Baltimore, which is what we knew was going to happen. We knew it's going to be public side, but just 52% of the cash. Big bets are coming in on the Dolphins, and I don't think I have the ball. I'm coming off 2 winning weeks in a row in NFL. I'm climbing back to the black. It's been a tough year, but I'm getting closer, and I think I'd probably rather just stay off than bet the fish. 34% of tickets are on the under and 66% of cash on the under. Because we don't have a ton of time here, we really want to hear Dutch's input because mine's up right now on our YouTube page. So Dutch, take it away. Ravens, Dolphins.
Yeah, Jim, I'm taking the same philosophy I took on last week, Thursday. You know, this is the second fucking game the Dolphins have won all year. They haven't won since week 7, bro. Now, they don't get no time to celebrate. You know damn well they want to say, I see you on Wednesday, and they right back in the office on Monday. Yeah, they were at the house, but it's Miami. Don't believe me. They went out and had a good time and celebrated their second fucking win of the year. You know, now they scored 17 fucking points, Jim, against the Houston Texans, who've allowed 30 fucking points damn near against everybody they played. Easily 3 out of the last 4, 30 plus. I mean, they give up points left and right like it's the thing to fucking do. And Dolphins could still only accumulate 17 points against them. This, to me, is a clear fate of the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to stay away from the first half with the Ravens. You know, I like the 3.5, 4. I'm not mad at it, but the 7.5 is easy money. This is a double-digit win all day. Ravens will easily win this game, Jim. From a passing perspective, from a running perspective, the Dolphins won't be able to do much. This is actually a game where the Ravens could probably get right a little bit on defense simply because of how putrid the fucking Miami Dolphins offense is. Now, the Dolphins are 1-3 ATS at home, 1-4-1 ATS in their last 6 ATS. 0-6 ATS in their last 6 at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens are 9-0 ATS in the last 9 meetings versus the motherfucking Dolphins. And there ain't nothing on that fucking sideline in Miami telling me to stand up and back them right now. This is a clear bird spot, Ravens, early and often. But go ahead and lock it in at minus, I believe, 7.5, Jim.
Minus 7.5. You've been very strong on these Thursday cards.
Yeah, if we only kept Thursday, bro.
But, you know, you've been very strong on them. Ravens minus 7.5 at minus 110. Talk to me about this total here. Opening up at 47, now down to 46.5. The Ravens defense has not looked good at all. I mean, the Vikings Vikings did so little. They had the ball for so little and still were able to, you know, put up a ton of points. Ravens had a 36-13 edge in first downs. Minnesota only had the ball for 23 minutes and 40 seconds. 23 minutes and 40 seconds and put up 31 points.
Yeah, man, they got Dalvin Cook, motherfucking Jefferson. They got Kirk Cousins. They got a lot of motherfucking weapons out there, you know. I think, but you know, I mean, I just don't see. I would lean over because of all that, and I'm not that happy with the secondary of Baltimore. But there's levels to this, and Baltimore is a clear level, probably 2 motherfucking levels better than the Miami Dolphins, Jim. I don't want to bet the over or under. I just want to bet on Baltimore to smash their ass, and I do got a prop for this game as well. I'm looking at Mark Andrews. Now, the Ravens tight ends have averaged 85 yards since week 4. That's 3rd best in the NFL. On the other side, the Dolphins give up top 5 in yards to tight ends since week 4. Now we're going to go over 49.5 receiving yards for my guy Mark Andrews, minus 115, Jim. Last 5 games, averaging 74.5 yards per game, 5.8 yards per catch. We're going to go over 4.5 receptions at plus 125 as well. Went over this number 3 out of the last 4 games, receptions and yards. So I'm looking for Mark Andrews to get off against these boys. Easy, early and often, you know, maybe get that yards and 1 catch right over the middle. But he'll have 5+ catches tonight and 50+ yards. Believe that.
As of this point, you know, Will Fuller and Devontae Parker on the IR. The Dolphins can't run the ball, and it's a huge, huge problem. But I just don't want a road team that's over a score favorite here. So this will still be Dolphins or no bet for me. And after the breakdown from our Dutch boy Fresh, I guess it will be no bet. We still have a college football game to talk about. The good thing is we know that Babano will be talking about that. That's Football Frenzy coming in 4 minutes. Let's review Dutch's action. Andrews over 49.5 receiving yards. What was the juice associated with that?
Minus 115 on that. Over 4.5 receptions plus 125.
Oh, you're on both?
Yes, sir.
Oh, over 4.5.
He's went over that number on both of these 3 of the last 4 games.
Beautiful.
He's averaging over that too the last 5 as well. So yeah, I like them both, Jim. That plus 125 did stand out to me. That's why I had to get on it.
Cuban Connect looking at the under as well. Eric Jones says Ravens will chew clock second half it up, guys. I mean, I wish I knew the Dolphins could run the ball, because then Mark Andrews over 49.5 receiving yards, over 4.5 receptions at minus 125. Ravens minus 7.5 at minus 110. In NBA, Dutch is on the Clippers minus 4 at minus 109. He's on the Pacers first half plus 6 at minus 110. And he's on Fred VanVleet over 2.5 threes at plus 120. He's also adding a Drummond prop, most likely. We'll see what number it comes out at. Dutch Boy Fresh, we love having you on these Thursdays. Congrats on everything that you're doing here at Pub Sports Radio. Dutch stars in our NBA Pub Hub show every day, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And it for my money, is the best show that we have around. It's just so great. I love it. So thank you so much for rolling with us, my man. And any last words for these great cappers supporting the show?
No, man, I appreciate each and every one of the last one of y'all motherfuckers. Y'all stay fresh, man.
Respect. There he is, Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Dutchy eating. Dutchy, that's what Dutchy does. Dutchy eats here on the show, and he's running hot.
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
All right, let's get back to work here. We have 2 minutes. So sadly, we can't go long on these days when we have our guy, Babano's NFL show at 1 p.m. And I know I'm supposed to stay focused and talk about this college football game, but
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh,
hard to stay focused. We have Big Show with a Lamar to throw an interception at plus 105. Lamar to throw an interception at plus 105. And let's just talk about this game very quickly. North Carolina Tar Heels. It's a beauty. I wish we could spend more time on it. 5-4, 3-3 in the ACC at Pittsburgh Panthers. 7-2, 4-1 in the ACC. Heinz Field, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. North Carolina comes in off a wild 58-55 home win over the ninth-ranked Wake Forest as 2.5-point favorites. Pittsburgh coming in off a 54-29 win at Duke as 21-point favorites. A Pickett went off for 416 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's an absolute monster. Pittsburgh opening up as 6-point favorites. That's moved to 6.5 at most books, and now it's at 7 at Pinnacle. So you can imagine that the other books are going to follow suit. This total, though, opened at 75 and has been dropping. 73 at most books. Bodog moved to 72, as did Pinnacle. Let's take a look at the cash flow situation here. We have 6,657 tickets in. 41% of the tickets are on North Carolina and 64% of the cash, and yet we're watching this slowly move towards Pittsburgh. Then we have 41% of tickets on the under and 52% of cash on the under. Big enough bets to clearly believe that, for the market to be moving 2 and 3 points. Joe Chris on Pittsburgh minus 6.5. Let's go over, the most important spots, I guess, here. So the Tar Heels are a game behind Pittsburgh in the ACC. This is a huge, huge game. It's a huge, huge, huge game. Last time these guys met was 2019. So, North Carolina, Pittsburgh won 2019. North Carolina holds the edge in this rivalry without a doubt. So we're coming off at 58 points against previously undefeated Wake Forest. North Carolina puts up 516 yards. They put together 358 rushing yards and get 6 TDs on the ground. This offensive line is starting to play a lot better, and everybody is seeing it. So Pittsburgh is second in the ACC and 15th in the nation in rush defense. They allow just 107 yards per game. So if Pittsburgh can stop North Carolina from running the ball, wouldn't that lead to an under? You would expect it to lead to an under, and I think that's the most pivotal spot here in why this total's gone down. North Carolina went up against the number 3 scoring offense in the nation, and now they have to play the number 1. I wish we could spend 15 minutes talking about the game. We don't, and that's on me. We got to head over to the Babano show. I tried to get there faster, and it was my fault. But Babano has his NFL football frenzy coming in here shortly. So I'm just going to do a quick review of action. I have not moved on this NCAA football game. I'm going to keep working on it, and I wish I could have done it out loud with you guys here right now. But Jose is on the Oilers at plus 120 and the Canucks at plus 165. Jose, are you making the Clippers also a say-hey play?
No.
Okay, so he's got these two plus lines as say-hey plays for him. I have 4 bets that I made before the show started in NHL. Oilers plus 125, Islanders minus 1 plus 117, Red Wings at plus 115, and Jets minus 1 at minus 119. I'm adding the under 6 in the Oilers-Boston game. It's almost a hedge, really. Because if the Bruins win this game, now look, this could be a fighting fire with fire situation. The perfection line is that good, but my idea is that the perfection line is going to be focused on slowing down McDavid. That's the way I see it. So I'm also going to add the Canucks as well. It's just with the injuries that the Avs have, and the Canucks not looking good on the homestand and hitting the road. It's a spot that I like. So that is the plan. The taint play of the day is Hawaii, a money line. My Islanders look is also Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day. In college basketball, Max is on Northern Iowa first half minus 2.5 and the under 133.5 in Vermont, Northern Iowa. He's on NJIT plus 3.5 minus 112 and the under 131 in Merrimack NJIT. He's on Kennsaw first half plus 11.5 and full game over 148.5 in the Kennsaw Creighton game. He's on the over 147.5 in Prairie View, San Francisco, and he's doubled up on unders first half and full game in Northern Arizona, Washington Huskies. Dutch is on Fred VanVleet over 2.5 threes at plus 120. He's going to add the Drummond rebound prop. He's on Pacers first half plus 6 and the Clippers minus 4 at minus 109. That Clippers look makes a ton of sense. He's on Ravens minus 7.5 and Mark Andrews over 49.5 receiving yards and over 4.5 receptions. There you have it. Thank you guys so much. On any other day of the week, we can go long. And we have been going, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We can't today. Go over to Babano's Football Frenzy. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. We have nothing without you guys. I can't give you all a shout out, which is what I would like to do because we've gone 3 minutes over and it's time to head over to Babano's show. But truly know that we have nothing without you. Let's close the show with one more thanks to the veterans who fought for our freedoms. And we have many armed forces cappers in our chat, and we thank them enormously. So let's leave with a more subdued Leche. So Leche Elos bookmakers, but let's more focus on the thanks to the veterans out there. Let's have a giant day and head over to Babano Show. Talk soon.
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.